Today, we're talking about a new subject, podcasts. We're talking about using podcasts to grow your business, and we're joined by Erik Hammond, who
Hey
joins
guys,
us every third Tuesday of the month. How are you today, Erik?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me, Tori. It's always fun.
Good, yeah. So we're going to get right into podcasts, but before we do, there's just a couple events that I want to tell you about. First being every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, we do a KV Core weekly training for our Alice and James agents. And then next Thursday, April 25th, we're going to be doing a national webinar actually with Erik. He's going to be our speaker for this webinar, and we're going to talk about 15 Facebook Live ideas for real estate, which I think is a great topic because a lot of people, as important as it is to go live on Facebook, what do you talk about? So we're going to throw ideas your way so you can start going live on Facebook. But today we're talking about podcasts. So Erik, have you ever created a podcast?
We actually, this is our second go around. We started it last year and we didn't have the team to support it. And that was a struggle. So we went through like 6 of them and then it just kind of dropped off, but we started back up. So yes, we do have a podcast now.
Okay, so can we talk about the popularity of podcasts? I personally listen to podcasts. I think it's really easy to do just while working, even when I'm kind of doing the mindless work and auditing whatever it may be that I'm doing.
You love your job, come on.
Yeah, I do. But there are times where it's nice to have something other than music in my ears and a little bit of noise. But do the majority of people listen to podcasts?
That's the fun thing. So everyone's got kind of a different way of working, right? Some people, when they're working, they can't listen to other people talking because it's hard to type and read and follow along. So they have to have music. But other people can multitask. I think females are a lot better than males at that. So good job for you. But yeah, a lot of people do. One of the things that I found so interesting, which we mentioned, I think in the post of this, is that the average commuter right now has a 45-minute commute to work. And during that time, radio is full of commercials in the morning. They're tired of listening to AM radio or whatever they used to in the past. And now with the flexibility of podcasts and the on-demand ability of it, it's such a great option to digest short bits of information on your commute or while you're working out or traveling somewhere. So yeah, America's definitely going back to the podcast.
Yeah. So when it comes to creating your own podcast, so there's plenty of podcasts out there that you can listen to. So many different like bits of information that people just throw into podcasts. But if an agent wanted to create their own podcast, what should they be talking about exactly?
Yeah. So if you look on iTunes, right, they try to categorize it by, fiction and like kind of that storytelling method. There's like business hack ideas, there's cooking ones, there's finance, there's all sorts of different podcasts. There's probably like 10 major ones if you lumped it down. But you could probably get into hundreds of them if you really thought about it that way. And so as a real estate agent, you're thinking, well, all right, great. What do I talk about, right? Which I guess is your question. You need to talk about things that are going to be a benefit to your audience. So what are the things that you can think about that your clients are going through right now? If they're already homeowners and they're not thinking about selling their home right now, but you're trying to get into their network and you're trying to be top of mind for them. So when they have referrals and they know people in their area who are thinking about moving, you can kind of get in there beforehand. So going through their life and thinking, who are my clients that I'm working with? Am I working with the 20 to 30 year olds? Am I working with 30 to 40 year olds? Maybe even 50 to 70 year olds, so where they are in their life right now and who is going to digest your content, it changes, right? Because a 20-year-old is definitely different than a 70-year-old and where they are in their life and what they're going through right now. So consider the things that they may have in their life right now and what they're going on. Are they first-time home buyers? Are they move down buyers? Are they having kids right now? Are they trying to save for retirement someday? Are they actually able to spend their retirement? There's a lot of different things that you can communicate. And the biggest thing I think that is going to be the eye-opener for most of you guys is it doesn't just have to be about real estate. The real estate agent doesn't just have to focus about here's a bunch of homes that sold this week and here's a bunch of new listings that are coming onto the market. You can kind of take a step back and say, I want to be the expert in my community. I want to be able to provide a lot of value to my listeners in everything that's around the world. So let's talk about you, Tori, for a second. What are some of the things that are going on in your life right now that you might find interesting in the podcast?
Well, I did just move to a new place, so things to do in my area would definitely be something. I'm also I want to get more outdoorsy.
Cool.
So maybe like outdoorsy stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Recreation. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about like career wise or like business growth wise or just personal development, right?
Yeah, I love motivational podcasts. I mean, and you can find some, there's so many out there. I think actually you can search by what you're looking for in a podcast. And there's even some that are super short, like less than 10 minutes, and you could just like listen to it while you're getting ready for work. So yeah, definitely the motivational ones are great. I like those a lot.
My wife actually consumes an Instagram page that she follows, and they basically like give you the news in like 60 seconds, like everything that happened that day all over the world, and you just boom, 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 it goes through the whole entire thing. So if you treated yourself as a real estate agent and you said, look, I'm going to be the local reporter for everything that's happening in my area so that all my followers are aware, up to date, they know what's going on, I'm going to provide value in so many different ways, that's the podcast that's going to win. So I wrote down a couple ideas here that I want to kind of go through, but for you, you moved to a new area, you want to know what's fun that's going on. So if you kind of provided like what's new and trending and fun in that area for new people to the area, or even people that have been there for 30 years who are like, I didn't know that restaurant existed. I didn't know that this day in the park happened every Monday of every month or whatever it is, right? Just fun things that are happening in the area. You could talk about, back to real estate for a second, you can talk about home update ideas, you know, like how to remodel a kitchen. Right now we're going through a home remodel and we're interviewing contractors and cabinet guys and window guys and all this kind of stuff. If you just took a product each week and said, you know, today we're going to talk about windows and next week we're going to talk about countertops and the pros and cons of granite versus quartz. We're going to talk about appliances this week and reviewing the different ones, and is gas or electric better, talking about those kind of things. You could talk about the school district some weeks and what's going on in the community with the teachers and how boundaries are changing and the new STEM programs that are coming out. You could talk about retirement ideas and how to save for retirement someday and how to start spending your money. We just went through taxes yesterday. Everyone had to pay their taxes on April 15th. What are some ways that you can reduce your taxes? You could interview finance people. There's so many different things that people are looking for in their life that you could be that one central hub of everything and just give them all the content they need that week, so they didn't have to go anywhere else.
I like it. Now, I don't know if there's any statistics on the demographics that mostly listen to podcasts, but should we be focusing when making a podcast? Should we kind of be focusing around older demographics, younger? Do you have any insight on that?
I would try to find out who 80% of your clients make up. So obviously you're going to sell homes to younger people and older people and people in between. But if you said, out of my last 100 transactions, if you had 100 transactions, what do 80% of these people have in common? You know, what's the common age that I can relate to? Because you want to be able to speak to your community. If you said, look, I want to go after the 70-year-olds because that's who I want to speak to, but nobody in 70 age group is buying or selling homes in your area, then it doesn't make sense. You're speaking to the wrong audience. So you kind of need to evaluate what's going on in your area, who's selling, who's moving out. If you're in a big military area and there's a big military turnover and people moving in and out, maybe you're near a base or something like that, that'd be the audience you speak to. So try to find the similarities in the ages and the interests that you probably work with already.
Got it. Now, making a podcast, it sounds like a lot of work. So how long should it actually take you to make a podcast?
So back about 10 years ago, you had to have a whole studio. You had to have that foam stuff all over the walls. You had to have this crazy mic system and a processor, and you had probably have like 4 or 5 guys to your team helping you record it and take down all the costs and all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, this little handy device that most of you guys have in your pocket, you can actually create it in probably less than 10 minutes. I actually just taught a class for you guys a couple weeks ago about a program called Anchor. And it's a fabulous program. It's free. And you literally can press down a button, just like with any of the social media apps, to record a story or something like that. Record your whole entire podcast. When you're done speaking, let go, and the podcast is distributed. It's literally that easy. So as long as you want to talk, that's as long as it'll take to create it.
That's awesome. It doesn't take that much work. And just while we're on the topic about like how long it should take, just a couple tips that like I've heard from people who have created podcasts is, one, you want to stay consistent in like when you release your podcast, if you're going to do it. And then another thing that someone told me is that you should probably have 3 or 4 ready to go, like episodes ready to go, so that if one week you can't record, then you have the backup.
Yeah.
It's good to have
consistency. Yeah, just to talk on that, consistency is key. So with our newsletter, with our podcast, with any of our video type shows, it's always the same time of the week, the same time of the day happens. So you need to get into that, because if your clients expect Thursday morning at 8 o'clock for there to be a podcast, you're like, oh, I was busy today, maybe I'll do it tomorrow afternoon. they're not going to show up every single week. So you're going to get more followers and more regular listeners that way. And like you said, the other way, there's actually a podcast. I can't remember the name of it. I want to say it's Entrepreneur on Fire, but he spends all day Sunday recording his podcast for the whole week. So he actually releases a podcast every single day. They're about 45 minutes to an hour long. So all day Sunday, he interviews 8 people back to back to back, and he just lines them up. So from like 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and so forth. He has them all edited. So he's about a month in advance out, meaning that what he's recording today won't come out till the month of May, but it's available. His whole team does it. He has these people call in. He actually lives in Puerto Rico. So he interviews people throughout the whole United States, and it's an unbelievable system, but it just takes him one day a week to create a podcast every single day of the week.
That's crazy. You
Yeah.
think by like the 8th interview, you'd be burnt out. You're like, am I done yet?
Yeah, right. Sunday's not a fun day for him, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, right. So aren't podcasts better for national brands and not local agents?
They can be, when you think about most of like the Dave Ramsey type shows or like Oprah and that kind of big brand, it definitely is more of a wider audience, and you're definitely going to pick up on national audience more so than just local. Like it's going to be impossible for you to just whittle this down to your local area. But what's going to happen is you can share your podcast, right? So as you email clients, as you talk to people, you can maybe have a link on your business card that you hand out. You can definitely put it in the email subject line. So when you send out your email, you might want to say, hey, check out my latest podcast here. You should be doing that with your social media channels anyway. But yeah, definitely focus on the local side of it and bringing it local. But the benefit of what a podcast can do for you nationally is the referrals, right? So if you know people who are moving outside of your area to new areas, right? Like, so we're in Southern California, you might have clients moving to Texas or Arizona. They're trying to get away from all the heavy taxes of California. You might be in a destination location for retirees. So if you're on the East Coast, maybe Florida or South Carolina, people might be coming to your area. Focus on bringing value to these people so that when they hear you and they're thinking about moving to your area or maybe away from your area, that you can connect with other agents. You can think about the referral side of that and connecting with people all over the United States. They're going to see what a professional you are, the knowledge that you bring to this industry, what an expert that everything that you do is, and it's going to come back to help you. Yep.
Very cool. And one of the last questions I have for you is, of course, we're putting time, we're putting effort into making these podcasts. We want them to be beneficial to us. Now, if you're staying local, you may gain a few clients here and there, but how do you make money doing podcasts?
Great idea. So the thought here is that if you listen to most big brand podcasts, they have some type of a commercial on the beginning that's sponsored by some type of a company, a product, right? Could be like Apple's not going to be sponsored. I'm just looking at my iPhone here, but somebody could sponsor that show. So let's just say we do a show talking about appliances because we're talking about kitchen remodels, and you're saying, okay, GE has this great new stove and Maytag and all these different companies. And you're talking about Wolf. Maybe you could reach out to a local distributor and say, look, I'm going to be talking about appliances on my show this week. If you'd like to be a sponsor, we could have you help promote the show. We could talk about your store and saying, look, if you're looking for a new Wolf stove, head down to Joe's Appliances. They would love to help you out. Look for Joe himself. He's going to come and talk to you, whatever it is. And you can take sponsorship money if you have the audience for it. So that's probably the biggest way, is to promote other products. And you don't want to make it a sales pitch just about everything to make money. But if you're already introducing other products and there's a way that you can kind of have an affiliate relationship with these companies, it's a great way. Even when it comes to, if you talk about books that you're reading and you recommend finance books or how to do books or something for dummies type of book, Amazon has a great affiliate link on there. So you can direct people to buy a book in the text of your podcast. And then when people click on that link and go buy the book from Amazon, you actually get money in return. So there's a dozen different ways you can do it, but just think about different products that you're going to talk about, different people who want to be on your show. We're being interviewed on a couple different podcasts in this area for different things about building your brand as a real estate agent. And it's nice to be able to just distribute your content to other people, but there's ways that you can kind of benefit from that as well.
Very cool. And I just want to throw out there real quick, I had looked into this a little bit, and someone that I know who does podcasts, she mentioned that you should probably have this. It's a website. It's $5 a month, but it's called Libsyn. It's Libsyn. And basically, from what I read, I haven't done too much on it, so you can look more into it if you're looking into doing a podcast. But basically, it helps get your podcast out on like Apple and iTunes and all that. So $5 a month, it could be worth it if you're trying to make your podcast grow. Yeah. Of course, we want to market our podcast, right? So do you have any insight on marketing? You're a digital marketer. Yeah, I know you do.
I would. So to your program too, I'm not familiar with it. I definitely need to check that out. So that's one option too. If you're trying to get your podcast out there, these platforms where it's like a one and done, meaning that you upload it to one, it goes out to many. Anchor provides that as well. They sync up with Spotify and Stitcher and iTunes and stuff like that too. But that's a big one. You know, definitely. So for us, we create a lot of different content around here. We do a weekly show on Facebook through a Facebook Live type platform. I know we talked about that at the beginning of the show. The cool thing too is just kind of thinking about this for a second. I know we weren't going to talk about this, but some of you guys have limited time, right? You don't want to spend all day trying to create content because you're out there selling houses. You're out there running a business. For us, one of our big staples is I have a show we do every Friday called Facebook Friday, and we talk to the real estate agent about how to grow their business. We give you guys marketing ideas. We give you, recruiting ideas and how to train your team and just how to do more as a real estate agent. So I take that show, which could be 20, 30 minutes some week, and we divide it up into all sorts of different content. So we can make separate posts for Facebook from that. We can take the audio, we can turn that into a podcast. There's so many different things. So if you're going to spend your time and effort into making one piece so that you have content for all your different social media platforms, consider doing something like a live video or one piece that you can record and distribute to multiple places like that. So I think one of the things too that we'd like to talk about on this is recently we partnered with Allison James and the Agent Centrics group to provide basically a way to do more with your marketing. And what it is it's called, got to remember the way that we worded it exactly, but it's a marketing concierge service. And so we teach you guys as a real estate agent how to do more with your social media marketing. So me being a real estate agent and in the real estate career for over the last 10 years, selling homes, buying homes, flipping homes, rental properties, all that kind of stuff, and now being super deep into social media, I understand what you guys are going through. I understand the struggle they have every day with trying to create content and distribute yourself and build your brand online. So we've created this private Facebook group where you can come learn how to use social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even a Be Live program like this, where you can distribute your content and interview somebody back and forth, or writing a newsletter or knocking doors, whatever it is. But it's a private Facebook group you can join and be part of, get your questions answered, and learn how to do more things on social media. So I think Tori's going to have a link to that in the description, so you can go learn more about it. But basically, it's a year membership. You get access to about 52 weekly calls from myself and getting questions answered from other group members as well. So pretty cool program.
Yeah, Agent Centrics is great because we all know like we should be using social media. It's almost a no-brainer at this point. But once you're in the social media space, it's what do you do?
Yeah.
So that's what
stuff changes and you guys get stuck and you're like, how do I figure out that button?
Yeah, exactly. Things change all the time, and that's kind of what Agent Centrics is there for. So definitely in the description of this video there will be a link. It's called agentcentrics.com/something.
Yeah. You can't miss it
in the description of this video, so I'll throw it in there. If you want to learn more, go to that. Eric, do you have any final thoughts about podcasts? It's kind of
yes. Here's my final thought. Don't be afraid. I know so many of you hear yourself on a recorded call, or you go speak somewhere and you're like, oh, I hate my voice, or I hate how I look on video. Guys, you're just judging yourself. Everybody else is amazed with the knowledge that you have. So be that expert and share that knowledge with others. You have so much stuff that you've learned over the years of selling real estate. Share this knowledge with others. Show your clients and your followers how much you know, and it's going to come out and it's going to help you close more deals and do more. So don't be afraid. Try it. Do it for at least 10 episodes. You'll see what happens. You'll see the growth that comes from it, and just be willing to try something new. This is a huge social media world that we live in, and you got to be able to distribute your content. There's never been a better way to distribute your content than there is now. So be bold, do scary things, and accomplish great results with it. Yeah.
That's a great final thought to leave off on. Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us each week. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and you always give us such great insight. And now I'm ready to go out and make a podcast.
Awesome. Go do it. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
So next week, we're going to be speaking with author and motivational speaker. Her name is Jaya Myra. And we are going to be talking about, can the way you stage your home make it sell faster? So you won't want to miss that. That's next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you all next week. Bye, Eric. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.